Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be looking at maths and a thing called ratio. Ratio shows how much of one thing there is compared to another. They are written like this: number 1, 2 dots, then number 2. The symbol between the two numbers means 2, like 1 part to the 4 parts. Don't worry if it sounds confusing. Let's have a look at an example. The third point on the slide is talking about milk and water. Let's say we are making a cup of tea and you need to mix 1 part milk and 3 parts water to make the cup of tea. The ratio of the milk to water will be 1 part to 3 parts, or 1 to 3. However, the order in which a ratio is written is important. Changing the numbers round changes its proportions. Proportion isn't ratio. Proportion means a part of a whole, and ratio means the whole of one thing. For example, proportion would be 1/4 of a pie, while ratio would be the whole pie. We can make ratios easier. Let's have a look at an example. I have a class of children. 14 are girls and 12 are boys. Both 14 and 12 can be divided by 2. So 14 divided by 2 I know is 7, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So instead of writing the ratio 14 to 12, I could write it as a simplified version of 7 to 6. It is just a simpler way to say the larger numbers. Let's now have a look at a word question about ratio. One day, a teacher decides to do a survey. On the day the teacher does the survey, 30 pupils are in class. The survey is about which eye colour each child has. After the survey is finished, it turns out that 12 pupils have blue eyes, 10 have brown, and 8 have green. Our ratio could just be 12 to 10 to 8. However, let's try to simplify this. I can do this by having a look at my ratio and seeing if there are any numbers that can divide wholly into each of them. Firstly, let's try the number 3 and see if it divides equally into all our ratios. If we have a look at the top sum, 12, which is the number of blue-eyed students divided by 3, is 4, so that works out perfectly. Next was brown, so 10 divided by 3 does not work. It does not produce a whole number. The same goes for green-eyed pupils. 8 divided by 3 does not equal a whole number. Therefore, we cannot use 3 to simplify our ratio. Let's try 2. That's always a good shout. 12 divided by 2 is 6. That works out for our blue-eyed students. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Again, great for our brown-eyed students. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So it works for all 3 of our eye colours. So our simple ratio is 6 to 5 to 4. Let's recap. Ratio is comparing how much you have compared to something else. It's not the same as proportion, which only shows part of a whole thing, like 1/4 of a pie. We can simplify ratios by finding a common number that they can all be divided by. For our daily task, we are going to use our example from before about eye colour and try to answer a few more questions about it. Our first question is, if we add all the blue and green-eyed children together with this new ratio, when we compare this new total with brown-eyed pupils, what is the new ratio? What is a simple ratio? Our second question is, some pupils were not in on the day of the survey. A few days later, they are all back. The teacher now has 2 more blue-eyed pupils, 2 brown and 4 green-eyed children. What is the new ratio? What is the new simplified ratio? Take your time, and when you're done, get an adult to let me know how you get on in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that this video was useful to inspire your learners to start thinking about ratio. My personal tutoring and Twitter links are down below. Thanks again, and remember to take some time for yourself in this crazy world. Bye for now.